just realized I was muted. From Castle Rexworth and the Rexworth Estates, I bid you good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever you are, and whenever you are. My name is Rexworth, Lord Rexworth. I welcome you to our Sunday stream. Going to be talking about the news, going to be doing some video reacts, and then continuing on with Deus Ex Human Revolution, the cyberpunk future that was supposed to be around this time next year. I don't think we're going to make it, but still, will be interesting to take a look at. Hope you enjoyed the different intro music that we had there, courtesy of artificial intelligence. It was Rule Britannia, and then before that was Heart of Oak, and also a fan music track called Across the Pond from Gwyneverse that featured both Amelia and Leaf. Definitely want to go check that out. But yes, you can find all links to all of my platforms, lordrexworth.com, lordrexworth.com. Make sure you're following me on Twitch, on Kick, on YouTube, on Rumble, also on X. Join the Castle Rexworth Discord and keep in touch with me and the rest of the nobles whenever I'm not streaming. Right now we are streaming on the weekends, but, you know, fingers crossed, that could change in the future. You never know. It all just depends on what the future holds. Anyways, thank you to the new follows here in the past few minutes. YQMLFOGRUJ. Thank you for the follow. We're just going to call you Keyboard Smash. Thank you for the follow, Keyboard Smash. And Stoner LS420, thank you for the follow as well. Welcome in, everybody. Ray Tamar, thank you for redeeming first over on Twitch. We are back on Twitch today. Could not stream on Twitch last night because my collab partner, Amalgamite, has been banned from Twitch. But if you missed it, fret not. You can go catch the VOD either on Kick or over on the Rumble channel. You can find links to both by going to lordrexworth.com. Or you may have a link there on whatever platform you're watching right now. But we're on Twitch, Kick, and Rumble this afternoon and into this evening. Back on our usual platforms. Let's see. Thank you for the lurks as well, Ray Tamar. Have a good one just lurking. Totally understand. We appreciate the lurkies. Phalanx, welcome in. Angel Rose, hello to you. Thanks for popping in. See, you both have been having a bit of a running joke about peeping Toms. Damien Demore, hello to you. Hope all is well. All is fairly well, I think so. Currently watching this from Mother Base. Give them in my regards. And Eisenhund, welcome to you as well. Checking in over on the Rumble side of things. Yeah, anyways, hope you're all having a fantastic weekend. Seems to be going by a bit too quickly. I had to spend a good chunk of my Saturday working, so that sort of cut into my home time. But it's all good. And Rosso, hello to you. Good to see you. Checking in over on Kick. Very good to see you. Yeah, anyways, hope you're all having a fantastic weekend. If you missed the collab with Amalgamite, again, you can go over to Kick or you can go to Rumble, catch the VOD over there. About 4.5 hours. We thought we were going to get to golf with friends, but you know what? We were just having such a good time talking amongst ourselves that the time just sort of slipped away. And then Amalgamite started getting a bit hungry, so had to go dash off and grab some dinner. But enjoyed it thoroughly with her. Definitely hope we can do it again. Yeah, that was a good time. And Neo, hello to you. Thanks for checking in over on Rumble. I Rex me old China. This is P-Quad on station on stacked tabs. I was just enjoying my Sunday. That's fantastic. Hope you're all having a good one. Yeah, it's a good day. Filled with a mix mash of some white pills, maybe a few black pills hidden there. But why don't we go ahead and get into it? Let us do the news. And we're going to start with some news that was breaking overnight. Let me go over to our window capture here. And we're going to start with some videos here. Being a lower house election over in Japan. Some short clips we've got here from NHK and a few other news outlets. Let me make sure the browser audio is turned down just a tad. I know I had it up all the way for the opening stream music. Got confirmation on a tea order coming in on Wednesday. Oh, fantastic. What sort of tea are you getting there, Rosso? You could say your weekend has gone pretty good.
NHK's decision desk says the ruling Liberal Democratic Party will secure a majority on its own and could even reach 300 seats in the lower house. That would keep Prime Minister Takaichi Sanae in power.
Poll numbers had been doing rather well as of late, so the thinking was she figured it was a safe gamble to go ahead and hold snap elections, and so that's what's happened.
The LDP is expected to secure 274 to 328 seats, giving it an absolute stable majority. A party with that status can chair all 17 standing committees in the chamber and hold a majority of seats in them.
At that rate, she doesn't even need to bother forming a coalition with any of the other parties. Which, I'm sure that suits her and the Lib Dems perfectly fine. Good lord, she's doing quite well. Yeah, helps when you've got kind of based rhetoric and talking about wanting to make sure that what happened to Europe and the West doesn't happen over in Japan. Time will tell if they actually do that. It seems like they're still hell-bent on letting in a bunch of Indians, but we'll see. We've got some other videos I've been checking out, first few minutes of it, I think are interesting about those who are wanting to perhaps pursue a life as either as a digital nomad or as you know, a foreign worker over in Japan, building a life over there, maybe as a permanent resident or even pursuing citizenship. Some things are going to get harder. We'll check that out in some other tabs here in just a moment. Ordered from Dragon's Tea, got mana and health potion teas. Fantastic. By the way, chat, make sure you go to thedragonstreasure.com/Lord Rexworth and use code Lord Rexworth at checkout. Save 10% on your order.
According to our exit polls and analysis, the ruling coalition is expected to secure 302 to 366 seats. 310
John Varga,
would give
thank you for the follow.
2/3 majority. Any party or coalition with that status is able to pass bills rejected by the upper house. Proposals to amend the Constitution also need that level of support in both chambers before going to a referendum. Here are the latest numbers from NHK's decision desk. Our calls are based on data gathered at polling stations on the election day and throughout the campaign.
I think I've heard something about the Japan Innovation Party. Don't know much about the Democratic Party for the People, the Centrist Reform Alliance. Don't really know much about them. Oh boy, there looks a bit tired, doesn't he? Her being in the Liberal or Democratic Party reminds me of the Lib Dem Party in Russia, the least liberal and democratic party in Russia, self-described as fascist. The reason for their name is because they came from the liberal democratic section of the Communist Party in the Soviet Union. Yeah, Lib Dems here, they are effectively the same as like the Tories over in Britain or perhaps the Republican Party in America.
Once again, the LDP is expected to secure 274 to 328 seats. This means it will gain a single-party majority for the first time since the 2021 election. The Centrist Reform Alliance, 37 to 91
And John Varga, thank you for following over on
election
Kick.
Total was 172. The Japan Innovation Party, 28 to 38. The Democratic Party for the People, 18 to 35. The Japanese Communist Party, 3 to 8.
That's 3 to 8 too many. We just need to round all of those up and drop them from helicopters. Oh, there's, yeah, Sanseito. That's the, I guess that's the new far-right party over there. Looks like they're making some small gains there. And the Tax Cuts Japan Patriotic Alliance. Not really making many strides. Even though tax cuts, we like that sort of thing. Just wish we could go back to the days where we could rename and reflag things. Yeah.
Reiwa Shinsengumi could secure 2 at most. Tax Cuts Japan Patriotic Alliance could secure 3 at most. Sanseito, 5 to 14. Its pre-election number was 2. The Conservative Party of Japan could secure 1 seat. The Social Democratic Party is unlikely to secure any seats.
Good.
Team Mirai,
they don't deserve
7
any.
to 13. And Independents, 3-8.
There are two types of seats making up the 465 spots that are up for grabs.
Okay, this is further analysis from NHK World Japan and sort of an explanation of how things work over there.
Japanese citizens aged 18 or older are eligible to vote. Now, 289 of those seats are from single-seat constituencies, and that's where voters simply write down the name of a candidate. The remaining
Simple write-in
176
ballot.
are chosen through proportional representation. Here, voters have a second ballot and they write down the name of a party or a group. Some candidates actually run under both systems, and what that means is even if they lose in their own constituency, they may still win a seat through proportional representation.
If it sounds like double dipping, that's because it probably is. Seems a bit sus, but alright. Sanseito apparently translating to Party of Do-It-Yourself. Yes, I've heard that's the rough translation. I'm a little lost. Don't worry about it, Angel. Don't worry about it.
233 seats are needed for a majority. The lower house is more powerful than the upper house. A bill becomes law if both houses...
It's sort of like, I think if we had to compare it, lower house, quite similar to the House of Commons in the UK, upper house being the House of Lords, though Japan has completely done away with titles and honors and heraldry and all of that business. Only thing really left is the royal family. So they just call it the upper house now.
Pass it, but if they differ, the lower house lawmakers can still push through legislation if it has the support of 2/3 of the members that are present. Now, after the election, lawmakers in both houses will vote for the prime minister with priority.
Presumably, Sane Takaichi will be selected once more to be prime minister.
Given to the lower house. Lower house lawmakers' term is 4 years, although the house can be dissolved at
Makes
any
sense.
time for an election like this time around.
NHK's decision desk projects...
Okay, fresh video here. Looks like still projecting ruling coalition to win 2/3 majority in the lower house.
NHK's decision desk projects the ruling coalition will secure a 2/3 majority in the lower house. According to our projections, the Liberal Democratic Party and its junior coalition partner, the Japan Innovation Party, have 276 seats so far. They are expected to secure a total of at least 310. That's the benchmark for a 2/3 majority. A coalition with that status would be able to pass bills rejected by the upper house. Proposals to amend the Constitution also need that level of support in both chambers before going to a referendum. Again, NHK's decision desk projects the ruling coalition will secure a 2/3 majority in the lower.
Just noticed a stamp on the bracelet. I wonder, is the Prime Minister wearing a Grand Seiko? That would be pretty cool. I actually own a Grand Seiko myself. They're lovely watches, by the way. If you've saved up quite a bit extra and you want yourself a really, really nice watch, but you don't want to have to deal with the bullshit of going out to get like a Rolex or something of that nature, look at a Grand Seiko. You won't regret it.
House. And let's now turn to our political correspondent, Kikuya.
Okay, further analysis on the election here. This is 3.5 minutes. More from the state broadcaster NHK World. This is the English language version of NHK, which is like the equivalent to the BBC.
Kengo. So, Kengo, it now looks like we can say the LDP and JIP are on track for a strong result.
Right.
How significant is this?
No
outcome?
surprise.
So it's huge significant. This is the first time since 2017
So dramatic.
that an LDP-led coalition has secured 2/3 majority in the lower house. Takaichi called this election wanting a majority. Her high approval rating put her in a
280
favorable
now.
position, but I don't know if she expected a landslide. That could be what's playing out, however.
I don't know. From everything I gathered, a landslide was not entirely out of the question. So this is not terribly unexpected, really. Sid the Cat, welcome in. Just looked at Sanseito's policies. for me, it's still not radical enough, but it looks a hell of a lot more better than LDPs on its own. Yeah, who knows? Maybe maybe Sanseta will decide to join up to form an even broader coalition with Japan Innovation and the LDP. Who knows? That would be fantastic. At least they would have some sort of influence in the new government. But then again, you know, Japanese, they tend to be fairly middling to center-right leaning for the most part, with a lot of their political sentiments. At least that's what I can tell. As long as you get outside of major cities like Tokyo, where you've got a lot of rootless cosmopolitans and socialist types. Wow, it looks like Japan's going to turn around for the better. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. But then again, those of us on the outside wanted to get in, going to be a bit harder for those who have the noblest of intentions.
So what does a two-thirds majority
We've got
in
tabs
the
on
lower
that.
house actually mean in practical terms?
So it gives the ruling bloc far greater leverage. With a simple majority, the government can
More
pass
flexibility.
budget and stay in power, but it still has to negotiate with opposition. A two-thirds majority means that coalition can override upper house opposition on legislation, even though it still has a minority there.
So still have to negotiate with the other side on certain things, but a lot of obstacles have been cleared out of the way. More harder than it already is? Yes, as we will find out shortly.
That significantly strengthened Takaichi's hand.
But are there still limits to what the government can do?
So yes, there are. For major changes like constitutional amendments, the government would still need a two-thirds majority in the upper house as well. Although, depending on context, we could see momentum built among enough opposition parties for a proposal for
Lower house, I mean, it looks about the same as it was when it was first constructed back in the 19th century, or early 20th century, whenever they first built this building. Don't quite remember, but everything so beautifully preserved. I mean, you can tell these wooden desks, these old wooden chairs, these have been around for a long time. And these chairs in particular have been graced by the posteriors of a lot of fairly powerful politicians.
an amendment to move ahead. So regardless, a two-thirds hold over the lower house will make policymaking much easier. It just doesn't give the government unlimited power.
And Takaichi was only in office for about 3 months before she called the election. So what do these results say about her?
Yeah, only 3 months in power, then she decides to call for snap elections. You don't do that unless you are fairly certain of your position, that you're going to come out on top with that. That's a power move for sure.
I think they show how much supporters she was able to secure in such a short amount of time. Voters heard Takaichi say she would step down if her ruling bloc failed to secure majority. So this could be seen
She
as
gambled and she
referendum
won.
on her tenure. And she scored a decisive win. She likely won't face any big questions about her leadership for the time being, or at least until the next election.
Now that she has a strong...
Takaichi has gained a lot of political capital from this. So even further levels of flexibility for her and for the party.
her mandate. So what can we expect from Takaichi's government?
I think we can expect her to forge ahead with her economic policies. She said she wants to follow through with what she called responsible and proactive public finances. We also
Okay.
know she
What does
wants
that
to
even mean?
tackle rising prices, talks about the revising the consumption tax will likely speed up with the launch of cross-party national council made up of lawmakers and experts.
I've been hearing over the years, since they first past consumption taxes, and especially things with sales taxes, they have indeed made things more expensive over in Japan. They were not very popular when they were pushed through, and yeah, it does seem like the government definitely overplayed its hand with that, and it's having a negative effect on the economy. And probably wise if they at least scale it back some or lower them a bit. It probably wouldn't be realistic to expect them to get rid of the consumption tax entirely. No government is going to deny itself of completely of a revenue source, but don't be surprised if you see talks of them talking about lowering the consumption tax at the very least. Helps that she's unapologetically nationalist and for the Japanese. She does appear to be so, and she appears to be surrounding herself with like-minded people in that sense, and that's a good thing, especially since Abe stepped down. You hadn't really seen a lot of that from the Japanese political class. It just almost seemed like a fait accompli that they were just going to slouch towards globalism but go the speed limit with that.
We also know Takaichi is expected to visit US President Donald Trump in Washington next month.
Whom she just got
So
a
we'll
last-minute
see
endorsement
what kind
from.
of impact that meeting has on the ongoing tensions between Japan and China.
Fantastic.
I think
Okay, comments from the Prime Minister in the wake of her party's victory. This is a 52-second clip. Let's go.
I think my cabinet is a very good team. And it has been only 3 months since the cabinet was launched, but we all worked very hard and achieving results, so I have no intention to reshuffle the cabinet.
Okay, everybody keeps their positions. And usually when someone says there's going to be a cabinet reshuffle, that means their lead ministers or cabinet secretaries going to either be switching roles, some of them will be leaving, new people will be coming in, but not in this case. So confident is she in her position and in her victory, doesn't see any need to change the cast of characters right now.
Most of the political parties are saying that they will cut consumption tax on food to 0% or 5%, depending on the parties. The percentage may differ.
Reasonable proposal.
Most of them are saying that they will cut the consumption tax. And the LDP also says that it will aim for it as a campaign pledge. So we would like to launch the National Council as early as possible to accelerate the discussions on this matter.
On February 8th,
Fantastic.
Japan's first...
Fantastic. Wonder if she'll be on the board of peace too. Who knows? I don't know. I tend to look at the board of peace as a sort of ceremonial sort of thing. When it actually starts accumulating some serious accomplishments, I might be inclined to take it a bit more seriously. But like so many of those international bodies, just seems so ceremonial, seems like a LARP, but I don't be surprised if President Trump extends an invitation for Japan to join the Board of Peace. People in Japan, they rather like peace. They've got lots of museums and lots of monuments and everything dedicated to peace, especially considering that, you know, they've got the whole history with World War II and the atomic bombs being dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So it would also be, I suppose, an interesting way to bring history full circle in that regard. Japan joining the United States and other countries on a so-called board of peace. Quite interesting. Let's see, 2-minute clip here from Nippon TV, News 24 Japan. Prime Minister Takaichi's LDP wins big and secures single-party majority. And we're starting off, this was footage taken on, let's see, this would have... So this was just shortly... How old is this clip here? If you go west, eventually you cross the international date line, so Japan is about a day ahead of us. They're already into Monday right now. So we're starting off from Suganami Ward in Tokyo. Footage recorded February 8th, so recorded less than 24 hours ago. This was... Okay, this clip was from 6 hours ago. Let's see what Nippon TV has to say about it.
On February 8th, Japan's first female Prime Minister, Takaichi Sanae, marked victory at Japan's lower house election, which was held amidst the snowfall across the country, with a total of 465
cold over there,
seats
isn't it?
up for grabs.
Razor, thank you for following me over on Kick. How you doing?
According to exit polls, the Liberal Democratic Party appears to win more than 300 seats and gain an absolute stable majority in the House of Representatives.
Fairly decent turnout for all of that snow. Usually bad weather at polling stations, no matter where you go in the world, tends to depress voter turnout. But looks like that's not stopping people from making their voices heard.
The LDP's coalition partner, Japan Innovation Party, is expected to maintain a solid performance in its home base of Osaka, but has been struggling for support at a nationwide level. They are expected to win around 36 seats, according to exit polls. Together,
still respectable.
The ruling bloc is expected to win 341 seats and surpass 310 seats. 2/3 of the seats of the House needed to steer policy and budget bills, and also pursue
Okay, this is Shibuya. Look at all that snow.
Constitutional revision. On the other hand, the Centrist Reform Alliance, which had a combined 167 seats between the Constitutional Democratic Party and Komeito, is to fall below 60 seats. The Democratic Party
statue. Oh, looky there. Someone made a little chibi Hachiko out of snow. That's charming.
Made significant gains in last year's upper house election, is to increase its seats to more than 30 seats. The Sanseito Party is expected to significantly increase its seats from the pre-election total of 2. Team Mirai had no seats in the lower house before the election, but is showing momentum to secure nearly 9 or 10 seats. The Japanese Communist Party is expected to fall to 5 seats.
Good.
Yukoku Rengo may win multiple seats in single-seat constituencies. Reiwa Shinsengumi is expected to fall significantly below its 8 seats and drop to 1 seat.
A lot of the same info we've already heard from
NHK. Is also in a close
NHK.
contest to determine whether it can secure any seats. The Social Democratic Party may struggle to win a seat.
More than 20 million people had made their choice before Sunday, casting their vote over the past 10 days in an election called more than 2 years early by Sanae Takaichi. Japan's first female...
I think we get the idea. A lot of the same outlets saying the same thing. But yeah, there you have it. New, fairly close to a supermajority for the LDP in Japan. Now they can get on with things. At least that's the idea. Let's see. Other news coming out of Japanese outlets. United States planning initial payment towards billions owed to the UN. I had no idea that the United States owed billions of dollars to the United Nations. Almost reminds me of that fake newspaper that you see in-game in Deus Ex, where the American president unilaterally overrides Congress and pays the bill to the United Nations and has that pull quote of, like, good tenants, we must pay our rent on time, as though the Americans are renting their land from the United Nations or something. Highly presumptuous. United States make an initial payment towards the billions of dollars it owes to the UN in a matter of weeks. That's according to the American ambassador to the world body on Friday, stressing the need for the United Nations to continue reforms. Well, you've just killed the incentive for them to make those reforms. Might as well just starve them of cash until they do it. Mike Waltz made the comments in a telephone interview 2 weeks after the United Nations Secretary-General sounded the alarm on UN finances and warned the 193-country organization is at risk of imminent financial collapse due to unpaid fees. Oh, no! Anyway, let's see. We'll certainly see an initial tranche of money very shortly. It'll be significant. A significant down payment on our annual dues. Don't believe the ultimate figure is decided, but it'll be in a matter of weeks. More than 95% of what is owed to regular UN budget is owed by the United States. $2.19 billion by the start of February, and another $2.4 billion for current and past peacekeeping missions, and $43.6 million for UN tribunals. Again, why are the Americans paying all this money to the United States? I don't understand it. absolutely feckless and corrupt world body that doesn't really do anything and is a waste of space. Under Trump, as well as refusing to make mandatory payments to the UN's regular and peacekeeping budgets, the US has slashed voluntary funding to UN agencies with their own budgets and moved to exit UN organizations, including the World Health Organization. Yeah, all of this seems like a step in the right direction, and yet here the US is paying the money again. Yeah, I really don't know. The ambassador saying this is some tough love. Current model is unsustainable for a lot of countries. We're trying to get the UN back fit for purpose and focus and stop trying to do everything for everyone. Pyeon Lee, thank you for the redeem. Hello, how are you? Fake newspaper, to me that's Metro, right? True and real. I'd rather us not pay it and use that money for Americans. I know, that's a lot of money to be paying to a world body when it could be used to, help the American people. We citizens have been asking this question for over a decade and a half, right? Oh, and Pyeon Lee, thank you for redeeming not first. Also, hello. Needs to stop. We need to exit the UN just to drain on the United States. That and several other countries just need to exit the United Nations. Honestly, just stick with the board of peace. Actually didn't hit a nerve when I found out about a Japanese Communist Party. I assumed surely they would not be a third-way Western socialist humanist joke, more national Bolshevist in a sense. Clearly not, since they're whining about more racism and more immigrants for cheap labor. Yeah. Seems to be the common refrain amongst the Internationale, isn't it? Someone needs to pay for those UN peacekeepers to go around graping in the war zones. Get somebody else to do it. That's my thinking. Get someone else to do it. But yeah, there it is. United States going to start cutting checks again to the United Nations after they had stopped doing that. Really, they just should have stopped and left it at that. End wokeness here with the clip. Representative Jean Wu going mask off, saying non-whites share the same oppressor and we are the majority now, we can take over this country.
I always tell people the day the Latino, African American, Asian, and other communities realize that they share the same oppressor is the day we start winning. Because we are the majority in this country now. We have the ability to take over this country and to...
If you're the majority, then that means you're the oppressor now, aren't you? Piracy doesn't pay what it used to. Got to go to America for the big bag. True and real.
Do what is needed for everyone and to make things fair. But the problem is our communities are divided. They're completely divided. And I talk about this. I always tell people the day...
So Matt Walsh quote tweeting, if he said this about black people, Jews, or literally any other group would be the biggest story in the country, he'd be forced to resign by the end of the week. And we all know it. Anti-whiteism is the most prevalent and destructive bigotry in America, and it's not even close. Other people responding genocidal language. White people must act as a voting bloc or go extinct. So many white people still don't know how late the hour is. Also from Matt Walsh, so I'm supposed to be outraged about an Obama monkey meme while Democrat elected officials are labeling the entire white race oppressors and openly plotting to conquer and subjugate us. Trump can post all the memes he wants. I really don't care at all. And then, very interesting, from Yuri Bezmenov's Ghost, quote tweeting commie gibberish of the day. You want to know what's crazy? The moment I heard him talk, I knew he was raised by a loving white couple. He has that perfect mix of success, speaking quality, and resentment. I know an Asian guy just like this. They were given everything, and yet they still have the resentment that makes them want to do damage to us. Question of ChatGPT, was Representative Jean Wu adopted by white parents? And the answer, yes. He was born in Taiwan, adopted as an infant, raised by white American parents in Texas, grew up culturally American with no connection to his birth parents. Going back to Bezmenov's Ghost, I know a woman like this. She was adopted from the developing world by a loving white family in the United States. She's now a professor at a university you have heard of. The left power principle works by inversion. It does not begin with what happened and reason toward a conclusion. It begins with a conclusion about power, then recodes reality until it fits. Reality is whatever they can make it fit into. Systemic is the key tool for that recoding. It is presented as sober description, but in practice it functions as an interpretive override. It demotes persons, intentions, and concrete acts into roles and treats the framework as more real than the world. Once you see that, the behavior is easy to predict. Facts stop functioning as constraints. They become inputs to be processed until they yield the approved output. Decades ago, when the race case of the day was on every screen, she spoke with complete authority. She leaned on the facts as reported and declared that the study proved the left power principle. Then the fuller record came out. The facts flipped. The story was basically the opposite. When confronted with that, she doubled down. Which sounds like what Jean Wu was doing here. The new facts, she said, proved the same principle even more. The reasons were whatever they needed to be to keep the conclusion standing. Now look at what the adoption should do to a normal model account. The family took her in, loved her, invested in her, and opened doors she would not have had otherwise. Whatever you think about America, that is a concrete good, and it should count as a real human fact. In the inverted frame, it cannot count. The adoption is not allowed to stand as love. At best, it is dismissed as an exception that proves nothing. More often, it is redescribed as systemic, which is to say it is converted into a power story. The parents are not encountered as persons with intentions. Their act is treated as suspect by definition because of what their category is said to represent. Kindness becomes a maneuver. Gratitude becomes complicity. And a gift becomes control. Very sociopathic way of looking at things. The framework does not interpret reality, it replaces it. It ranks its own categories above facts, and its own end above truth. So even love gets processed into fuel for the same conclusion. Now, truth is relative. They pick whatever one works for them. Truth is often secondary to the agenda, and they never stop advancing the agenda. But I think the overarching thing that we can take away from all of this, he has to go back. We don't need people like him in the United States or anywhere in the West. He has to go back. Truly, just a most ungrateful and ungodly little wretch. Let's see. Something amusing from The Atlantic. An Atlantic article coins clicktatorship for Trump's social media governance. In an Atlantic piece from the 3rd of February, Donald Moynihan argues the Trump administration mixes a social media worldview with authoritarian tendencies, pointing to White House posts of xenophobic memes, ASMR deportation videos, and policies echoing Truth's social rhetoric. Examples include officials like DOJ head Harmeet Dillon posting frequently on X and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, showing platform feeds and briefings with decisions influenced by influencers' videos on welfare fraud. Conservatives on X mock the term as sour grapes, celebrating direct responsiveness to public concerns as democracy in action, when Moynihan warns of poster brain prioritizing dopamine-driven extremes over due process. Two really good takes on this, one from Mike Benz. Basically what you're saying is, your shit sucks. You can't win without censorship. Nobody clicks it unless it's clockwork orange into people's feeds, and they have no choice but to view other content, so you're rationalizing your unpopularity as resulting from some clickto-autocracy. Donald Trump has built a clicktatorship is just another way of saying posters are in control. I doubt true China wants him. That's possible. Let's see here. Oh, a bit of a white pill. From Wall Street Apes and Eric Doherty. Non-English Florida speakers are now being forced to take the driving license test in English after the state switched to English only. Should be the standard, considering that America is an English-speaking country. This from the local NBC affiliate Channel 6 News. Let's take a look.
NBC6 met Daniela crying in the hallway outside a Miami tax collector's office. She was excited to pick up her driver's license, but that excitement turned to sorrow.
Oh, you poor dear. Learn fucking English or you have to go back. Oh no, Latin woman crying. We must throw away civilization. Spare me your tears, woman. Learn some fucking English, then retake your driving license test.
Daniela showed us proof she passed.
If you don't understand English, you're not going to be able to understand any of the signs on the motorways, on public roads. That makes you a danger not just to yourself, but also the road-going public. So, if you can't understand and read English, and speak English for that matter, you've got no business holding a driving license in any American state. It really is that simple.
Are not Spanish, but as Florida law states, for those who use an authorized third-party test administrator, she was randomly selected to take the test again. The test will only be in English. Therefore, Daniela hit a major roadblock. Daniela is one of many that will not be able to take their driver's license exams in any other language other than English, and they will not have the option of an interpreter or translator.
Again, if you can't read, speak, and understand English, you will not be able to navigate the roads in the United States. That will make you a danger behind the wheel to yourself, to your passengers, and to the rest of the public. This is a safety issue. Her being behind the wheel of any motor car in the United States is dangerous.
Some residents told NBC6 they are against this new policy, but some state officials like Governor Ron DeSantis believe this change will make roadways safer by ensuring drivers can read English language road signs.
And experts with PolitiFact say the effects of Florida's policy may be small because traffic signs are typically universal symbols rather than words. They also believe the policy could lead to more unlicensed drivers.
Unlicensed drivers also have no business, and the police would be entirely justified to step up their enforcement to make sure if you don't have a license, you go to jail and you get your card impounded. Not controversial. As Dorothy says, this should be the standard. Of course it's Florida. One more point in that column for my next state of residency. Now, Florida's not bad. I've always found it to be a beautiful state. I think if I didn't live in the present location that I do now, Florida would be a decent alternative. Mind you, it is rather expensive out there. I mean, it's expensive all over the United States. Just one of those things. But, yeah, having been to Florida on holiday a few times myself, it's nice down there. Bit warm, bit humid to my liking, but not bad. Oh, I did want to get to this. So, we had the election results showing the LDP in Japan poised to take a 2/3 majority. Getting a bit harder for expats to enter Japan, possibly build a life there. It's keeping out a lot of bad people potentially, but also, I think, keeping out a lot of good people too. Sort of an unintended consequence sort of thing.